Alright, replay review for Petri or Reby here on Falstad on Volskaya Foundry. I believe this is a Bronze 5 game, and you said specifically for this game that you felt like you weren't effective and that you got outdamaged by your healer. I also saw from the stats beforehand that you ended this game with 10 deaths, which is probably what we're going to focus on the most. We talked a bit about optimizing auto attacks and stutter stepping, better positioning. We'll see if that's something you could be doing from this replay. I hadn't watched any of your gameplay before this, so we might touch on that, but the big thing that I'm looking at from your stats is those 10 deaths. Because, no matter how good your mechanics are, if you're dead, you're not dealing damage. And 10 deaths is pretty horrendous. You talked at length about how you felt it was difficult to climb out of your rank and improve, and that would be the biggest place you can improve. When you're dead, you're not contributing to the map, you're not contributing to the game, you can't carry while you're dead. So you want to minimize your deaths first and foremost, especially when they're at double digits like that. Now, quick note at comps. Big thing that stands out to me is you don't have an offlaner right now, so you probably are handling offlane a lot. I would probably pick auto attack build because of that, if you're planning to be in lanes a lot and catch minions. I won't go too much into builds, we'll talk about it a little at the end of the game. But mostly we're going to be looking at the gameplay rather than your builds. Yeah, as far as anything else, you don't have an offlane, they also don't have an offlane, which is why I would think auto attack would be a lot better. You could try just push into buildings. Abathur can't really defend that. You're gonna have to watch out for Stitch's hooks. Those are how you get scammed in a lot of games. I'm guessing that Stitches is probably the reason you died a lot, so we're gonna keep a lookout for that. You have White Mane who can heal you up if you're getting bursted down, but not if you get hooked away. Our game plan here, especially since we took Q Falstad, unfortunately, is that we're probably just going to try to grab as many stacks as we can, aim a bit for stacks, and scale to the point where our Q just sort of blows people up. Now, we're not going to do that at the expense of getting minions. Again, you're kind of the person in this draft who should be getting minions. Nova is not great at it. Raynor took veteran marksman, and since you have your global flight, you're better to split off from the team than Raynor. So, though we want Q stacks, we're also going to be looking to pick up the minion waves if our team isn't, and they probably aren't. But let's take a look at how this game starts off and see what happens. Alright, summing up, you see a KT, you can just throw your Q at him. Nice. Double check, did you explode your hammer on KT there? I don't think you did, because you only got 2 stacks. You did, okay, you got 3 stacks, sure. You took a living bomb for it. Nice dodge on the Stitches hook. Okay. This is our first thing about the auto attacks. You definitely had an angle. You could sneak in a couple auto attacks on that Stitches. I probably won't go too hard into the auto attack micro, but like in this first engagement, we might pick out a few examples just to show you what's up. You stepped a little too close to the Kelp toss, by the way. You could have thrown the Q from slightly outside his living bomb range, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, you start an auto attack here, then cancel it for some reason. You can definitely sneak in an auto attack or 2 on him there. You're getting way too close to them when you don't need to. And like if you're this close, start throwing auto attacks. If you're in auto attack range, you should be auto attacking. Yeah, so the first few seconds of this engagement, you've thrown 1 Q and then sort of just walked back and forth. You haven't thrown any auto attacks, you haven't pressed W on anyone, despite being in range to do both. So if you're losing out on damage, that's why. it's because you're in range to do damage, but you're not pressing the buttons to do it. Still in range to auto-attack, still not auto-attacking. You missed your Q, but that's fine. Alright, we got... Yeah. You could maybe have killed the Kilthos if you stutter-stepped with him and then eat out. Definitely a touchy thing. I think it's fine that you didn't. Trying to just throw the Q at the wave to clear that. Nice. Like that. Could have... You should have stood still for a second, not entering any commands. Yeah, okay. This is where you need to stutter-step. This Flame Strike should never hit you. You just stood still in it. Alright. Now, the wave's cleared. We're immediately looking at what do we do. And the thing that we're doing is we're looking at boom, there's a wave, boom, there's a wave, and there's camps. The wave is more important. So personally, what I would be doing is not flying, you don't need to use your Z for it, but starting to move either top or bottom to catch the wave. And in fact, you're a little bit late to it. Your team took a bit too long to clear the wave, which is partially on you. You could have hit the wave more. And because of that, you're losing XP. Now they are too, so it's not a huge deal. But if you're there and they're not, now you're up on XP. The reason we go mid, by the way, in general, is to clear the wave. The wave crashes mid earliest. So if your team can clear the mid wave quicker, then you can rotate away quicker, which means you have priority to like interrupt their rotations, clear this wave quicker, get on camps faster, and just sort of move around the map quicker. Now, you can get stacks as well. You've got stacking here, here, and here, so you can sort of fish for those, but the primary reason we're mid is to clear the wave, not to fight. So, W, by the way? Alright, wait a little bit to press W. And yeah, you're standing still to auto-attack a lot. If Stitches felt like he wanted to hook you, he absolutely could have. So yeah, this is the biggest mistake we're seeing so far, is that no one's moving to the side lanes, and you should probably be the one doing that. Ate another Raw Flame Strike again. You should almost never get hit by Raw Flame Strikes. If there's nothing stopping you from moving out of the way, you have enough time to move out of the way. By the way, we've thrown like probably 4 Qs, and I think only 2 of them have hit. So not great for the stacking, but it's fine for right now. It hasn't been too long in the game. What are we moving up here to do? Alright. So, the Stitches, right? We saw him rooted. What are we walking up here to do? He's under tower, he's got the Oriole with him with full energy, he's not dying. If you wanted to walk up to throw a Q, that would be reasonable, but you don't have Q on cooldown, so I don't think there's really anything worth doing. Just try and clear the wave. Yeah, and because of this, we walk into tower range, and eat a living bomb, and lose half of our health. Decent job not spreading the living bombs, at least. Good job there. We really need to move from here. Like, go do camps at the very least. You've at least got people in lanes, go do camps. But your Q. What are we waiting for? Nice Q stack. What is this positioning? You are a ranged hero. That means you have 5.5 auto attack range, which means there's no reason for you to willingly walk into melee range of the Stitches here. From looking at those first few minutes, I think the biggest problem that I'm guessing we're going to see the entire game is you don't really have a plan for what you're doing. I've said this a couple times, but most of your gameplay sort of seems to be walking in circles. More like walking back and forth, but just sort of waiting for stuff to happen. You need to have a proactive plan as to what you're doing. And that could be like, we're going over to a side lane to catch soak. We're going to this camp to grab the turret. We're going to go stall a rotation, dive someone. You can't just wait for people to like walk into you mid lane, especially once the wave's cleared. Like once the wave's cleared, there's no reason to stay in the lane. Move somewhere else, do something. If people are in lane, you want to harass them, actually like step up and proactively harass them. Don't just sort of sit there and wait for abilities to come off of cooldown. You're not being useful while you're doing that. Good God, seeking an auto attacks, but again, we're walking too close to the stitches. You want, like, for mechanically, what we want to practice is stutter stepping and staying at max attack range to get in as many attacks from as safely as we can. So far, there has not been any sort of situation of, oh, it's dangerous to go auto attack. The situation has been you're walking into melee range of people, so you're taking more damage than you need to be, and you're not sidestepping abilities. When you like go stand in melee range of the stitches and stay in the flame strike until it explodes on you, then yeah, you're taking damage for auto attacking. But if you're staying further away, where people can't as easily hit you, and you're moving out of the skill shots and area effects, then you take a lot less damage and can auto-attack for a lot longer. Yep. Alright, so wave's cleared. What are we doing? We've got some options here. We could push this in and try and hit building, but the wave's really small and I don't like it. We could go to a side lane. I like this the most. Well, actually I don't, because the wave's like dead anyway. What I would say is we go for the turret, personally. We do want to catch the next mid-top wave as it crashes, so you could start moving up to get that instead. But like, you know, staying mid here and just doing nothing, and you didn't even auto-attack the tower. This has been... Let's actually count this. So from the time the... See how the Rainer, by the way, is coming in and actually hitting the wave? This is what you want to do. Again, the chief goal of this game, especially in the first few minutes, is just clearing waves quickly and efficiently. When you have the option to like push for something more outside of that, if you get kills and you have the option to push a building, sure, that's great. But you actually fighting heroes just over nothing does almost nothing. Waves are worth a lot more XP. Hero kills are worth almost nothing, and they come back really quickly. Respawn timers are almost 0. Once you clearing the waves lets you rotate more, lets you impact the map more, and lets you build up those advantages that you can take into the mid game. So, let's see. Alright, waves cleared at 250 replay time. I'm going to count how long it took you to actually do anything. Alright, and at 259, so it took almost 10 seconds for you to actually do anything useful on the map. And these small uses of time, these are how you win. Like you're saying, you need to be a god tier gamer to climb the ranks out of Bronze 5. No, you don't. What you need to do is make your time useful and have a proactive plan for how you're approaching the game. What you're instead doing is walking in circles for 10 seconds until the next wave comes. Then you clear that and maybe like trade some damage with stitches again, and wait another like 20 seconds for the next wave to come. And then repeat that for the rest of the game until someone's core explodes and you don't know how you got there. At least this time we're looking at the wave, except now we're not. We've thrown our 1Q and now we're walking away from the wave. Now we've turned back, now we're throwing auto attacks. Again, we killed our one minion and we haven't realized it, so we haven't clicked over to hit the next minion. Still haven't realized it. Okay. It took us like 5 seconds to execute another command. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know, this just... These last, like, 7 seconds sort of just look like you went AFK. And just have, like, auto-attack the closest unit on, and then came back to your computer every couple seconds to click a little bit forward, to auto-attack the next minion. And then, once the minions were dead, we stood in another Kel'Thas Flame Strike. And walking close, but press buttons. Auto attack. Press W. You said it's too dangerous to get in auto attack range, but you're in auto attack range several times this game already. The thing is, you're just not auto-attacking while you're in range to do it. It's free. It costs almost nothing to do. If you are in a position to auto-attack, you should be auto-attacking. Move in between auto-attacks, stutter step. But, like, you're in range to hit the stitches right now. And you're not. You're, like, walking in a circle around him. You're walking in an arc around him. When you could just be hitting him while doing the same thing. That's out of curiosity, by the way. Let's look. Okay. We throw a Q at about 314. Through another Q, I'm not even going to count that. Alright, 332. So it took us, what, 16 minutes? 17 minutes? Something like 7 seconds, by the way, not minutes. It took about, what, 17 seconds to actually do something useful again. We cleared the first wave, and we went, after the wave was cleared, we stepped up and threw a Q at the wall to get some siege damage. Sure, good. After that, we did 17 seconds of basically nothing. Walked in circles waiting for the next wave to come. We threw a Q at stitches in the meantime, but I'm not even going to count that because that's not really a productive use of your time. So yeah, it took us 10 seconds from the last wave to do anything, another 17 seconds from this wave. So we're at, almost half a minute of wasted time this game from when I started counting. There is definitely more. You need to make use of this time. Stop walking in circles and start doing things. More lanes exist than just mid lane. Get the side lanes to soak. Get the turrets. You can even make a play for a support camp. Just make a play for something. Stop sitting in lane and waiting for people to come to you, because that's not how you win games. Hey, throw a Q at that guy. Nice. Remember, you can reactivate your Q in flight. I know you definitely didn't do it there because I saw the reactivate timer as it flew back to you. You can reactivate your Q in flight to do more damage and give yourself more stacks. Cool. I like clearing this wave, sure. We've sort of given up on it halfway through and missed this XP globe. We're standing in this turret, taking damage for no reason. Alright, sure, clear the turret. Alright, what's the plan here? Hey, there was a clump. Throw your Q at that. Throw your Q. Get in there. I mean, I'll say it again. Let's get it over to there. Alright, we clear the turret. Blah 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 blah. Sort of walk up, don't do anything with that. And we have walked into melee range of the stitches. And eaten about half of our health bar for that. And why are we walking into melee range of the stitches and just putting ourselves in range to get hit by Kael'thas? The only reason you could maybe walk into melee range of the stitches is if there's someone behind him that's really low and you need a couple extra autos to kill and you're trying to chase a kill. Both of these guys are almost full health. Kael'thas is a little bit lower, sure, but certainly not low enough that you need to sneak in some autos on him to finish him off. So there's no reason to get that close. Just auto-attack the stitches. Or if you really want to auto-attack the Kael'thas or the Oreo, loop around somewhere else. Go up here to hit the Kael'thas over here, or like go down here to try and hit the Oriole over here. Do not walk straight into the stitches, or he can freely hit you, and you're super easy to get hit by these other two backliners. You did that, and you lost almost all of your health, and now you're out of the fight because of it, and you're needlessly wasting your healer's mana. Look, your healer's almost out of mana. You cannot fight this anymore. Hey, good stacks. Look at your team's resources. Also, stop getting hit by flame strikes. You have E up. You never get hit by that. So right now, by the way, I consider the Rainer the best player on your team simply because they have been hitting waves and they've been splitting off to catch side lanes. Better Q positioning gets you way more stacks there, but that's fine. Why are we in melee range here? Stop. Stop getting baited into this. This Kael'thas does not die here. You're just walking into the middle of their team. So, okay. Actually, I'm going to guess this is what you mean by it's too dangerous to auto-attack. I'm going to go on a limb here. I apologize for making an incorrect assumption. You are thinking in terms of the tank doesn't die, I can't hit the tank, I need to hit their backline. So I walk up to auto-attack their backline, which means I take a whole bunch of damage because of this. And the flawed assumption there, yeah, I apologize if this is incorrect, an incorrect statement of your motivations. The flawed assumption there is that you can't hit the tank. That's incorrect. Tanks can die. You want to hit tanks. One of the easiest ways to succeed as a DPS player is to just bully tanks. Tanks stand out in the open all of the time. They take free damage so much, but they rarely get punished for it because people think like that. They think, oh, this guy's got a bigger health bar. I shouldn't hit him. It's not worth it. It is worth it. If you actually hit them, their health bar goes down. And you have a lot of opportunities to hit them. This Stitch is standing right in the middle of the point. If you stand like here and auto-attack him, Kael'thas can't. None of these guys can retaliate. You're just doing free damage at that point. Literally free. They cannot stop you. And you just do that enough until Stitches starts getting low on health, and he's like, oh no, I can't stand here anymore. If he does, he dies because you just keep hitting him. If not, he has to walk away, and now they don't have their tank. So now you can move up and start hitting them. But instead, you've walked into melee range of Stitches like 2 or 3 times this game to try and get their backline, I think. And all you've gotten for that is losing half of your health bar to living bombs. And just other random damage. Look at your team's resources, by the way. You can't fight this. Your tank's out of mana, and is at like a quarter health. Your healer's been out of mana for actually like the last 2 minutes, because her team, mostly you, has been eating random damage that she's been needing to heal up. This Rainer, by the way, this Rainer is actually doing what we want from the auto attack. He's on the flank, just sort of hitting the tank. I'm not saying this Rainer's playing perfectly by any means, but if I'm looking at someone in this game that you should emulate, it's the Rainer. They've been going to side lanes, they've been catching lanes, they've been actually sneaking in auto attacks really well. I believe they were top damage in this game. Yeah, look at their stat line. This is what you want. This is really easy for you to do in this game. This is not what you want. Like, he's just sitting there auto-attacking away. He missed his Q, what does it matter? If he hit the Q, the Stitches dies. You, by the way, just stepped into Kael'thas' living bomb range, got hit with a living bomb, he didn't retaliate. If you're stepping in that close, it's because you want to do damage. So do the damage. If you E up and W, you might be able to kill, by the way. With the Sylvan's trade, you just took too long to do anything. Again, stepping into the range, you're just stepping into another person's range. It's because you're trying to trade with them. So trade with them. Do the damage. You sort of hesitated for a couple seconds while she got to do damage first, so you lost the trade. Now, you probably lose the trade anyway, you're kind of low health, but you could have done a lot more damage to her, and you have the E-shield to get out when you're done. You control how long that trade takes. You should probably just... you don't have tap. You should probably just back. Alright, we got it. Hey, nice. Alright. Here's a question. You have the Protector. What are we doing with it? 3 main options. We either push mid, we push bot, or we push top. Personally, I like pushing top. Because pushing top sets us up for the next objective. The next objective will always spawn top. If we can get even the wall down, that makes contesting it a lot easier. If we can get the entire fort, that makes contesting it super easy. But I'm guessing you're just going to go mid because your pattern in this game is that you're not really thinking ahead, and you're just sort of not even going where the obvious thing to do is. You're kind of just sitting there. So I'm guessing you're just going to go click at the nearest red health bar, which is mid. Here. Yep. Okay. Tree glove optimization. Now this one's kind of reasonable because you don't spend a lot of time in the tree glove, so if you don't really think about how to use it, it's not really obvious. But a couple things you could do. First, don't stand here. Standing here, you take aggro from both towers so your mech dies faster. Stand down here if you want to hit this tower, so you're only taking aggro from this tower, or up here if you want to hit this tower for the same reason. Otherwise, yeah. Use your E to get armor. That's good. Why are we walking away? What are we doing here? Press your E again. Yep. Either if you're going to be if you're going to be in range of people, these guys, make sure you're getting value. Hit this tower. Or if you don't want to be in their range, walk away. Don't just walk in circles in their range where they can hit you for free. Do not give people anything for free. I'll attack the Stitches. And you walked into that Flame Strike. Okay. Yeah. I think this... I mean, I'll go over the rest of the replay here for funsies. 30-minute game now, but like these first few minutes are really what sort of shows why you're struggling. You got the two main things you need to work on. Your micro of stop standing still, stop just walking in circles doing nothing. Make sure you're pressing buttons. Stutter stepping isn't even anything you need to do at this point. All you need to do is stop just sort of walking in circles in people's attack range. If you are in position to be hit, you need to either be hitting or getting out of that position. And hitting includes your auto attacks, all of your abilities, everything you can do to do damage to them and make them regret being in your attack range. That is your micro thing you need to do. And your macro thing you need to do is remember that other lanes exist. And stop just sitting in mid lane for several seconds at a time. Make sure you're doing something with your time. Rotate around the map. Try and find advantages. Hit by another raw flame strike. That was incredibly delayed reaction time on your E. You're thankful that guy doesn't have 16. The one thing I will say you're doing surprisingly well is not spreading living bombs. Good job on that. See, that's what you want, by the way. What you did with the Stitches, good. You stepped up to him, you threw all your abilities, you auto-attacked him until he got out of range, and he walked away from you because he was scared of your damage. That is what you want to be doing. Just do that more. Like, you're not stutter stepping, you could have done more damage if you stutter stepped, but it's fine. I don't care at this point. You have more basic things that you need to work on. Also, we're level 9, and you haven't picked your level 7 talent. You need to not do that. Pick your talents when they show up. What you can do is you can favorite talents you want to pick, and then there's a select favorite talent hotkey. I believe it's on tilde by default. I've personally rebound mine to C, so it's easier for me to hit. And that way, as soon as you hit the level threshold, you can instantly select the next talent that you want. Okay, so we're doing a camp now. Why this camp? Because this is not the camp you want to be doing. You want to be doing this camp because the turret is really good to get. This is kind of whatever. It's good to get, but if you're going to eventually remember camps exist and pick one up, do the turret. So you can actually get something useful for the next team fight. Use your E, by the way. Get a shield so you don't take as much damage. Use your Q. Nice. Stop getting in melee range of stuff. Like, it doesn't matter in this case, but, like, get out of the habit of having to go melee range to do things. Lower Q at her. Nice. E forward, E forward, E forward. You win this. Okay. So you win this until you start attacking minions instead of Sylvanas. Alright, you gotta burst. Yep. You could have W'd a little bit sooner, but it's fine. And then you get melee range of her. Again, stop doing that. And you're hitting the minion instead of her. Nova finishes her off, thankfully. But, like, you could have... Yeah. You could have had Nova not die if you do that. If you E forward, keep doing damage, you and Nova both kill, uh, Sylvanas dead if you're, paying attention. What you could have done there, by the way, instead of just walking into the Flame Strike, into the Pyroblast, um, let's show it. You see your White Mane coming up from the bottom. You could try and run away from it, E over the wall, and try and get to your White Mane before it impacts, and perhaps she can save you. Alright, let's fast forward until you're up. Alright, what are we doing? Flying top? Sure. Your team's fighting, by the way. You should probably help them. Have you figured it out? At least you sort of stepped up and did damage this time. By the way, if your team's in trouble, you can gust to save them. Yeah, like... Recognize your team's in trouble. You can gust to try and save your Arthas here, by the way. It probably works if you do. Or you can try and gust to save your Raynor. Okay, I guess that works. Alright, I have 44 stacks. What's the next one? 80? Okay. Missed her with your cube, but clearing the wave was not bad. We could look for the flank on mid, perhaps. I would be rotating this away, honestly. Hey, kill that. No, what? So as soon as you see that Oriole, she is inting. This is not a place that she can be. You E behind her and you try and kill her. Like this. E like down here or something, or up here, maybe even through her, and start throwing abilities at her. It takes you it takes you like a couple seconds to react to anything. So Arthas is trying to 1v3. It's kind of working. Alright, how do we approach this fight? This is an Abathur clone, by the way. It doesn't matter. Hey, that got into melee range. You could have killed that Sylvanas so much sooner. Kill that. Okay, ally hook. Nicely done. Alright, now that you've won the point, please do not go stand on the point. Please do not go stand on the point. Good. You want to push. Push with your minion wave. Step up. You were in melee range of the stitches again. Throw abilities. Do damage. It's the one thing your hero does. Stop. Okay, so you just killed yourself there. You just stood in the flame strike. And next to the living bomb. That one's 10,000% on you. You're not using all of your skills is the thing. I'm watching you in fights, not press your buttons. This is an Abathur clone. Hit the Kel'Thas, not the clone. The clone doesn't matter. And stop standing inside the flame strikes. You're stepping up way too much. This is how you die. Okay. Like, look, you're in range to W and you're not pressing W. You're not using all of your skills. This is patently false. This is way too far up. You're dying here. Yep. Do you see how you have no support here? Like, your entire team is dead. You can't chase that hard. Like, you just have a Raynor, and you know their entire team is up here. You're stepping up this much. You see Oriole coming down, by the way. Oriole has a whip that knocks you into a wall and stuns you, which is how you die here. So you see Oriole above you, and you're still walking up next to the wall. Alright, let's try and clear this protector. Just step up and press buttons on it. Okay, so you stepped up, you press your Q, and then you went AFK, which meant that I couldn't stun you. Like, you're not even stepping up to auto attack or press W, let alone, sidestepping the delayed still shot that you can definitely move out of the way of. Auto attack, auto attack. You press W and then you're not auto attacking. Alright, clear the wave. Auto attack. You're in melee range of the wave. Right. Sure. Cue the wave. Good. Alright, escape from that, sure. I mean, you could have avoided that by stutter stepping and not standing still to get hit with all of their abilities, but it's fine. It's unfortunate, It would take some solid footwork to not get hit by that combo of abilities there. Clear the top wave. And it takes you so long to, like, move or react to anything. You sort of sit on the camp until it's fully camped and then wait a couple seconds to get off of it. You're walking to this camp and then you're not, like, auto-attacking immediately. By the way, you want to kill this guy first. This guy heals the turret. If hitting the turret is going to do nothing as long as that guy's healing it. Look, he's healing the turret now, so the W used on the turret is doing absolutely nothing. You want to throw everything at the operator first. Use your E for the shield so that you don't take as much damage. E for the shield? E for the shield? Okay. If you E for the shield, you don't have to leave. You can actually solo this camp. You should be able to solo the turret camp at level 15. The fact that this game goes on for another several minutes is kind of horrendous. That was an Abathur clone that was dying. You need to throw a Q at it. Alright, we walked into a random kill with Thoughtseize. You can maybe live this. You can live this. If you E'd as soon as you got out of that, instead of standing around to try and, like, walk out, you would have been fine. If you E up, you might be able to escape. I would just stop typing, by the way. There's no point. Throw your Qs. And you're sort of just walking up, getting hit by living bombs, and then not doing anything in return. Fat Q. Okay. Yeah, you got skimmed a little bit by Stitches. You avoid that by not just sort of standing in vision, not moving. You're standing on the wave right now, so it can't hit you. That's fine. Just ate a random living bomb for a living. But yeah, you're just standing still right now. This is like a super easy Stitches hook. You gotta stutter step. Or at least be ready to see the Stitches hook coming and E out of the way of it. You had E up there. You could have avoided that. Alright, let's fast forward until you're up. We have several lanes that we could be clearing, by the way. Like, they are pushing our bot keep, but also we're down 3 levels because we haven't been soaking lanes. Getting top lane, mid lane could be good. That's good. Press your buttons, W. There you go, it took you way too long to start doing that, but good job. Yeah, you could be trying to get this Oriole instead of hitting the wave with Arthas, but that's fine. Why are we leaving the lane alone? Get these minions while we're here. Might as well. Mr. Q, but that's fine. We weren't ready for it to charge. At least we're Wing and auto-attacking this time. Now we've stopped auto-attacking. Q. W. And when it takes you like several seconds to press abilities, you can't really say that you've been... Nice Gust! Oh yeah, that was good. That's worth. That was a good play. You don't need to step into the Aegis and take free damage, but it's fine. Good Gust. Good job getting in position to Gust as that exploded. Probably could have done that a little cleaner, but the idea was solid. Alright, we're about to hit 20. Let's go bot and get that bot wave. Or mid and get the mid wave. Either or. As long as we're getting waves. No. I hate that. I don't think we need to do that. That's why. That is why. So, you're correct in the fact of they have 3 dead. We want to do something with that. What you're incorrect on is flying directly into the middle of them. Because there's 2 of them up. You don't see them on the map. There are probably 3 places they could be right now. The first is on their turret camp. The second is on their siege camp, and the third is on this camp. This one would be really ambitious of them, and they should not do it, because it's really dangerous. So, practically, it's either here or here. So, flying here is 50-50 flip that one of you is going to be versus 2 of them, and you die. Even if you do, even if they aren't on it, they're on this, and there is decent chances that they finish this, and come grab this, and then they kill you anyway. The better things that you could do with your lead are push top, or get this. Those are the 2 short-term things that you could do while they're dead. Longer-term things you could do, and probably do want to have some people doing, is pushing out waves, grab your turret camp, try and prep mid wave, because the next point's going to be mid. You could try and push this all the way up and try and get their fort down. This play just kills you. If you had Gust up, maybe you could play for it, but like this is just hard int. By the way, once you see 2 of them there, don't stand there and try and fight. Be out. Hey, there's no world where you win that 1v2. Your team just doesn't get there fast enough to save you, by the way. Like, is also the reason. If you want to invade them, you need to go there with your team. The fact that they have 2 dead only matters if you actually can mobilize more than the number of people they have alive. And if you're flying in alone, that's not how it works. Alright. Let's step up and throw some Qs. You are lucky that the range wasn't enough, because you did not try and move. Alright, how do we play this? So what you could do, by the way, they're all clumped at your keep walls. What you could do is fly behind them and gust them into your keep with Wind Tunnel, and you probably get several kills. That's more of an ambitious play, but like if you fly like here, and then gust them all into your keep walls, that's probably pretty good for you. Yeah, especially like now. Like, I look to fly here, honestly. Do I make that play? I know you're down people, but it's probably doable. Walking into another Flame Strike. You died with E up to Flame Strike once again. The upside is I can fast forward through so much of this. That's pretty nice. Because we're only looking at you. You don't need to have two people on the mid wave. They're probably on your top camp right now. Or rather, two people on the bot wave. You can go mid. They're probably on your camp right now, so just be wary of hooks from there. Been on your camp? They're taking so long to do it. I guess they're not. On their turret, sure. You have fly up, by the way. If your team wants to invade their turret, you can. But I think you just clear out the waves. I like trying to equalize that. Don't need to go into melee range of the wave. You're a ranged hero. Alright, team's fighting. We can probably fly up there and try and make a play. At this point, just walk. I mean, clearing the waves out is alright, but I think you probably want to contribute to the team fight a little bit. But this is okay. Your team has been woefully down on waves and their homework. So, trying to fix it is nice, although we are dying a whole bunch. We got the mid fort, but kind of wasted the protector otherwise. You are struggling with this camp, by the way. Remember, use your E for a shield. You took E4 that gives you a fat shield whenever you use E. So you can use it to tank damage from, like, PvE targets. Okay. I thought that guy strode up and living bombed the keep, and you were recalling right next to it. I thought for sure you were about to continue recalling, get hit by living bomb, and wonder why your recall got stopped. You could try and kill that guy. You know they're split. Sylvanas is mid. You could try and fly behind him and gust him. That's a little bit risky. You don't know where the rest of the team is, but it's possible. This is so greedy of them. Now, Gust is an offensive tool as well, by the way. Like, with Wind Tunnel, you can... Oh, we didn't take Wind Tunnel. Even still, even without Wind Tunnel, you can gust them into the wall to, like, stun them for a little bit and clump them up for your team. It's not just a disengage tool. That's the power of Gust. It's not just a disengage tool, it's also an offensive tool. You're not in the Nexus, by the way. You're fully healed, yeah. You need to react faster. Everything you do is like several seconds too late. I don't know if it's just you're not looking at your screen the entire time, or you just have really slow reaction speed, or what. But again, those little bits of time, they add up and they matter. So every time you're taking like several seconds to react to something. Like if you had Gust here, you could sort of like E up and Gust these all into a wall. And if you have Wind Tunnel, that's basically just GG. Okay, so we are at the very least auto-attacking and doing damage, although we could be doing it in a way that we don't eat a bunch of damage for free. Like, we're walking into melee range of the Stitches again. Eating living bombs. This is a Nabather clone, it doesn't matter. With their actual team. Again, yeah, like, it dies and you take like several seconds to react to it dying and move elsewhere, and then you walk into melee range of Kel'Thas, eat a living bomb, sort of walk in circles. You're not pressing buttons here. You walked up, got hit by Kel'Thas living bomb, walked back, sort of walked in an arch, didn't auto attack, didn't hit W, didn't hit Gust, and then just died. Alright, well, we can fast forward here. I assume they just get next objective and win? Nah, it's actually fine, because, oh, you did not need to use your fly for it. The whole point of you catching bot is that you have fly to come top. You did not need... If you're flying bot, that defeats the whole purpose. And then after that wave's cleared, you can head on up, by the way. Oh, E? Nice, okay. Tap. Good, keep walking backwards. 84 overkill. You know how you don't die there? If you walk backwards and you don't walk into Living Bomb, your tap regen is enough for you to live. That's why you walk away from the bomb while you're regenning. Tap doesn't give you any upfront health. It's all health over time. So you need to actually like walk away from the bomb and give yourself another few seconds to gain enough health to live. Where are we moving? Move somewhere. Please do something. Please do something. Clear the waves. You are actively losing core health because you're not moving. This might be the most tilting thing I'll get. You respawn. The core is at 100% health. There are 3 catapults, now 2 catapults hitting your core. You are moving. You're here. You're still not defending them. You have lost. You've gone down from 100% core health to 47% core health because you are not moving. I don't know if you're typing or... Stop typing. You lost 53% core health because you were typing in the middle of the game. Please stop doing that. You want tutoring this, don't lose 53% core health for free. That gust does nothing, by the way. No one was in danger. It doesn't set up for anything. You've walked into another flame strike for free. And we're only saved by the fact that the protector shielded you. You're just standing still while they walk up to you, ate a living bomb for free. I assume you all just like die and they end here or something. Let's set the timing there. So that the white main ult, with her level 20, sucks them all in. So you would have had a fat Q if you'd waited for that. You might have thrown the Q slightly beforehand, though. Yeah, you did. Unfortunate. If you had Gust up, it would have been nice Gust into the wall. Press your W, by the way. You're not using your skills. You're hitting the minion wave while your team is fighting right next to you. Alright, couple things there. Yeah, we're hitting the minion wave while our team's fighting. We have walked into the living bomb. And stayed in the living bomb, and we just died. We walked into 2 living bombs and exploded for it. And then we lose here. Yeah. Okay. Alright, before we get into general thoughts, let's look at talents real quick. We won't go too much into it. But you have a really weird hybrid build here. Uh, Typically, if you're going Q at level 1, you want... Let me go back a little bit so I can open up the talents. Going Q at level 1, you typically want Boomerang at level 7. The basic attack damage from Secret Weapon synergizes more with the frequent flyer attack damage increase. You don't really need the range from Secret Weapon. The Boomerang's extra damage, additional damage, by the way, stacks with your Q quest. And spell armor reduction also stacks with it. So this just gives you a lot more burst off of your Q. Again, sustained wins as well, also more synergized with frequent flyer because of the 25% attack speed increase from the talent. Typically, with Q at 1, you want Flow Rider and Airy Gusts. Because Flow Rider, while you're standing back, your Tailwind, your trait is active, you're getting basic ability recharge, so you can throw more Qs. And then Airy Gusts means your Tailwind comes back faster, so that you get your cooldown reduction more frequently. Nexus Frenzy also, probably more of an auto attack talent. Usually I'd say Wind Tunnel with Q build. Alternatively, if you wanted to go these talents, just take Frequent Flyer at 1. Like Secret Weapon, Sustained Winds, and Crippling Hammer are all things you can take with auto attack builds. Crippling Hammer can kind of go with a couple different things, but in Nexus Frenzy, like these talents all want Frequent Flyer at 1. So I would say either switch to Frequent Flyer or switch to stuff that synergizes more with Gathering Storm. By the way, Gathering Storm, on the end, horrible pick this game because you died 10 times. You lose stacks every time you die. Yeah, I think the better build this game would have been we go Frequent Flyer and we just go catch the side lanes, pick up the minions, pick up the soak, and then our goal in that game, if we're Frequent Flyer, is we're just a burst machine on Stitches. We just hit Stitches a whole bunch, and when he's CC'd, like by Arthas route, we pop the active and we just start hitting him with increased attack speed. Right. That's talents out of the way. Again, not as important because your playstyle is much more what you need to fix. Like I said before, there's the two main things you need to do this game. The first is your micro, and that is largely just auto attack from max range. Make sure you are auto attacking. Press your buttons. Stop walking into melee range when you don't need to. Stay at the edge of the attack range. Keep auto attacking. Press your abilities off cooldown. You're not auto attacking a whole bunch. You're not pressing your abilities quickly. You're spending a lot of time in fights just sort of dragging your hero around the screen, contributing absolutely nothing. Make sure that all of your movements have purpose and are accomplishing something. And then on the macro sense, try and have a plan of what you are doing. You spend pretty much the entire early to mid game just sitting in mid lane waiting for waves to crash into you so you could throw a Q at heroes. Push buildings, rotate to different lanes, get camps. You should never have downtime. You should always have some sort of goal of what you're doing with your hero, somewhere you're moving to, something you are accomplishing. And honestly, like, there's no mechanical tricks I can teach because this is all just sort of a mindset thing. Also, react faster. Several times this game, like a minion would die and you're just sitting there because you don't realize you need to click next to one, or like you've respawned and you don't realize it, or like I don't know, several things that you're just not moving quickly. So ultimately, a lot of the time this game is downtime where you're not accomplishing anything because you're just waiting for things to show up, or you're not doing damage, or you're not reacting, you're not moving places. If you just start like moving with purpose and making sure that you're trying to squeeze everything you can out of your time and accomplish some goal, at this point it doesn't even need to be a good goal. As long as you have some sort of plan in mind and are working to accomplish it, you will do a lot better. both on a micro and a macro sense. Moving somewhere on a macro sense, like trying to get value on the map, and then on a micro sense, am I hitting this guy? Am I backing up? Am I leaving? What? Am I pressing my abilities? Am I staying at a safe range? Am I hitting targets? Am I contributing damage? And that's what you need to be thinking about. So yeah, hopefully this helps. I apologize if it sounds a little harsh at points. I don't mean to discourage you or say that you're doing bad. I'm just trying to point out the mistakes you're making and the things that would get you the most value to improve on right now. I'm just trying to show you like the impact that these things have on your gameplay. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. I will post this video as well as a sort of summarized list of things to work on. And yeah, I mean, you continue working on it. Happy to review another game in the future once you feel like you've gotten a little bit better at this and are looking for new things to work on or need a different perspective or whatever. Yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope that it will help you improve in your future games.